Hey everyone, today we're jumping into a tool that is an absolute game changer for saving time and effort, GitHub Actions. We are going to break down exactly how you can automate your entire workflow, all the way from writing code to getting it deployed. You know the feeling, right? You've just wrapped up a fantastic new feature, you type git push, and you get that little moment of satisfaction. But you also know you're not done, not even close. Because now comes the manual stuff. You got to build the code, run all the tests, unit tests, integration tests, and then you have to manually deploy it all to a server. Now, don't get me wrong, these steps are absolutely crucial for shipping quality software. But doing them by hand every single time, it gets old fast. It's easy to make mistakes, and honestly, it just pulls you away from the fun part, writing more code. But what if that whole chain of events, the building, the testing, the deployment, could just happen automatically every single time you push? Well, that is the incredible power of automation, and that's what we're going to get into today. Okay, so to really get how this all works, we first need to get our heads around a core concept that makes all this automation possible. It's called CI/CD. So, what on earth is CI/CD? It stands for Continuous Integration and Continuous Delivery. You can think of it as a set of practices, really a whole philosophy that's all about making software delivery faster and way more reliable. It helps you catch bugs early and gets rid of all those risky manual steps. And CI/CD really has two parts to it. The CI part, continuous integration, is all about developers merging their code into a main branch often. And every time they do, automated builds and tests kick off to make sure nothing broke. Then you've got CD, or continuous delivery. This part picks up right where CI leaves off, automatically getting every good, validated code change ready to be released to your users. This whole process can be thought of as a pipeline. First up, you've got the build phase, where your code gets compiled into something that can actually run. Then it moves right into the test phase, where a whole suite of automated tests make sure it all works like it's supposed to. After that, you might have a staging phase, which is basically a dress rehearsal in a production-like environment. And finally, you hit the deployment phase, where your code is released out into the wild for your users. So how do we actually build one of these pipelines? Well, if your code lives on GitHub, the answer is already built right in. It's time to meet GitHub Actions. GitHub Actions is this super powerful feature that lets you build out these CI/CD workflows right inside your repository. All of the instructions for what you want to automate live in a simple text file written in a format called YAML, and that file just sits right there next to your code. It's so convenient. Now, to really get good with GitHub Actions, you just need to understand a few of its fundamental building blocks. So let's pull back the curtain and break down the core concepts that make the whole thing tick. We're going to look at these 6 key pieces. We'll start at the very top with the workflow. Then we'll look at the event that kicks it off, the jobs that do the work, the runner that executes those jobs, the individual tasks or steps inside each job, and finally, how to handle sensitive info with contexts and secrets. Ready? Let's start with the big one. So at the highest level, you have the workflow. The easiest way to think about this is that it's the entire recipe for your automation. It's the whole YAML file defining the entire process from start to finish. And what starts the recipe? An event. The event is just the trigger. It's the specific thing that happens that tells your workflow, okay, it's time to go. This could be a push to your main branch, someone opening a pull request, or even something on a schedule, like running a cleanup task every Sunday night. Now, a workflow is made up of one or more jobs. A job is basically a collection of steps that all run together on the same machine. So if the workflow is our whole recipe, a job is like a major chapter in that recipe, like mix all the dry ingredients or bake the cake. And where do these jobs actually run? They run on a runner. A runner is just a server waiting for instructions. It's the kitchen where your recipe actually gets made. And the cool thing is, GitHub provides runners for you for free, Windows, Mac, Linux, but you can also set up your own if you need to. Okay, let's zoom in one more level. Every job is made up of a sequence of steps, or what you might call tasks. These are the individual commands that get executed, one after another. In our recipe, these are the super specific instructions. Add 1 cup of flour, preheat the oven to 350, and so on. And this is what steps actually look like inside that YAML file. You'll see 2 main keywords. Run lets you execute any command line script you want, like npm install or npm test, but the real magic is in the uses keyword. This lets you pull in pre-built actions that other people have already made. For example, actions/checkout at V3 is an incredibly common action that just checks out your code onto the runner so the rest of your job can work with it. But of course, some things can't just be sitting in your code, right? What about API keys or passwords? For that, GitHub Actions gives us secrets. These are basically encrypted variables that you set up in your repository settings. They get passed securely to your workflow, and most importantly, they are never printed out in the logs. And here's how you actually use one. See that special syntax? $secrets.github token? That's how you tell the workflow, hey, go grab the secret named GitHub_token and use it here. It gets the value to the action securely without ever exposing it in your code or your logs. It's absolutely crucial. All right, that's enough theory. Let's put these pieces together and see how we can build a real working pipeline that automatically deploys a website every single time we push a change. The whole process is actually really simple. First, you just write that workflow file and put it in a special folder called GitHub/workflows. Then you commit that file to your repository and push it. As soon as you do, GitHub sees that file and automatically kicks off your workflow, running through every job and every step you defined. And the end result is this. Deployment complete, your site is live. You just pushed your code and GitHub Actions took care of the entire build and deployment process for you. Seriously, that right there is the magic of a good CI/CD pipeline. So once you get these core building blocks down, you can start to streamline your entire development process. You can automate testing, deployments, sending notifications to Slack, you name it. It frees you up to focus on what really matters, writing awesome code. So I'll leave you with this question. Now that you've got the fundamentals of workflows, events, jobs, and steps, think about your own projects. What is that one manual, repetitive task you do all the time that you are going to automate first with GitHub Actions?